Hello friends, today I will discuss the synchronous motor construction, principle, its equivalent circuit and the vector diagram. So in this case, the keywords that I am going to use here are three-phase AC supply, stator and its winding, rotor field winding, DC supply, damper windings, equivalent circuit, vector diagram. When it comes to the construction, synchronous motor have two major parts. One is called the stator, which is stationary, and it carries the three-phase winding, and it is supplied by a three-phase balanced AC supply like this. This is the stator, and these are the stator slots. So in these slots, three-phase winding will be housed, and this is the rotor, and this rotor is a salient pole rotor, and this salient pole rotor carries a winding. That winding we call as field winding, and that field winding is fed, and this rotor is called the salient pole rotor, and it has a fixed poles. This is north pole and this is south pole for this case. And to analyze this synchronous motor principle, I took here a two-pole rotor. And coming to the types of rotors, so there are two types of rotors. One is called the salient pole rotor, the other is called the wound rotor. So this is the wound rotor, means it is also called round rotor, also called cylindrical rotor. And in the cylindrical rotor there are slots here in which the winding is placed. That winding is nothing but field winding of the rotor, and that in turn will be connected to the DC supply. And this is the stator, and it will also have the slots in which three-phase winding is housed, and this is all cylindrical rotor. And when the three-phase AC supply is given to the stator, then a rotating magnetic field with constant speed called the synchronous speed rotates, and its speed is dictated by 120 F by P, that is the supply frequency and the number of poles of the synchronous motor. So next there is another type of rotor used in the synchronous motor called the salient pole rotor like this. So here there are four poles. This is one, this is one, this is one, this is one. And if you look at this, alternatively we find the north pole, south pole, north pole, south pole like this. As usual, this is the stator, and stator will also have the slots in which three-phase winding is placed. Similarly, rotor will also have the slots in which the field winding is placed, and that field winding is connected to the DC supply, whereas the stator winding is connected to the three-phase AC supply. When the three-phase AC supply is given to the stator of the synchronous motor, a rotating magnetic field rotates with a constant magnitude at a constant speed called the synchronous speed. So as I said earlier, this is cylindrical rotor. This is also called a non-salient rotor, and if you look at that practically, it will be like this. This is the cylindrical rotor. So this is called the salient pole rotor. If you look at this, these are the salient poles. And coming to the principle of the synchronous motor, so the keywords that I am going to use here are rotating magnetic field, constant magnitude, synchronous speed, and the supply frequency is 50 Hz, and the time period of this supply voltage is 20 milliseconds. For half cycle it will be 10 milliseconds. And polarity of the stator magnetic field changes for every 10 milliseconds. These are the keywords. And coming to the synchronous speed of the synchronous motor is given by 120 F by P. So where F is the supply frequency and P is the number of poles on the stator and Ns is the synchronous speed. And here there is another keywords that I am going to use, that is rotor inertia, that is also rotor weight. A rotor poles fails to change its position within 10 milliseconds. Now let us see its operation or a principle. So here for the simplified explanation, I took stator have the two poles and also rotor has two poles like this. And it is assumed that the rotor is connected to a DC supply, that is rotor windings are connected to DC supply, so that the rotor forms the two poles, here south pole and here north pole. And similarly the stator winding is connected to the three-phase supply, and so that resultant magnetic field is produced, which is rotating at synchronous speed or angular velocity of omega s. And the poles of the stator are, this is N and this is the south, this is north pole and this is south pole. So for this position of the rotor, this is the stator pole, that is north pole, and whereas the rotor pole here is south pole. So they attract each other, and this south pole tries to move with the stator magnetic field pole, which rotates continuously with the time like this. So because the stator magnetic field is rotating in the clockwise direction, the rotor also tries to move in the direction of the stator magnetic field, that is in the clockwise direction. And if you look at this, the rotor pole here, this is the north pole and this is the stator pole, south pole, and they also attract each other. And because the stator south pole is rotating at constant speed, that is synchronous speed, the rotor also tries to move with the south pole of the stator magnetic field like this. But this stator magnetic poles changes for every 10 milliseconds because its input is sinusoidal waveform like this. So this frequency of the voltage is 50 Hz and its time period, that is 1 by 50 Hz, is nothing but 20 milliseconds. And if you calculate for a half wave, then we get 10 milliseconds. The stator magnetic field changes its polarity for every 10 milliseconds. During positive half cycle, we find here north pole, and in the next 10 milliseconds here we find the south pole. So 10 milliseconds means it is very small time. So whereas the rotor is a physical material, a solid material, so it cannot change its position within 10 milliseconds. That is, its north pole cannot come to here in 10 milliseconds. So what happens is that the stator magnetic field changed its polarity like this. This becomes south pole, this becomes north pole after 10 milliseconds. Whereas because of the rotor inertia, its polarity, here it is south pole and here it is north pole. It is just like previous case. So we know like poles repel each other. So the south pole of stator repels the south pole of the rotor. So the rotor tries to move in the left side, means anti-clockwise direction. Similarly here the north pole of the rotor get repelled by the north pole of the stator magnetic field. Once it is repelled means instead of moving like this, it moves in the anti-clockwise direction like this. Again after 10 milliseconds, again this will become north pole, that is stator pole will become here north pole, and this becomes south pole. So then again the operation repeats, that is the south pole tries to move along with the north pole, means within 10 milliseconds it is unable to change its polarity, so it just tries to move or it just pulsates, it cannot rotate in any direction. So that is the principle of the synchronous motor. So if you want to rotate the synchronous motor, we have to rotate the rotor or the synchronous motor by external means, so that it moves along the stator magnetic field. And to make the synchronous motor self-starting, so one method that we use is, we introduce what is called the damper winding in the pole shoe of the salient pole rotor. That is like this. This is the damper winding, here also damper winding. Whereas this is the ring, this is the end ring. This is also end ring, means it will short circuit the damper windings. Whereas these are the rotor field windings. So when we look at the diagram, we show like this. These are the damper windings, and those damper windings are short circuited by a wire like this. So that winding we are showing here like this. So once it is done, and when the three-phase AC supply is given to the stator of the synchronous motor, a rotating magnetic field sweeps over these damper windings. As a result, so a current flows in the damper windings and it produces a flux. So as a result, the rotor starts rotating as a three-phase induction motor, but its speed is less than the synchronous speed. But within one cycle, it picks up its speed to synchronous speed and it moves with the stator magnetic field. So when we draw the equivalent circuit to the synchronous motor, so we have the two parts, one is the rotor circuit, the other is called the stator circuit. So for stator circuit, per phase circuit is like this. So this is the supply that we give, that is AC supply, and because it is a motor, it takes current from the supply, and this is the armature or stator resistance per phase, and this is the stator reactance per phase, and this is the induced EMF in the stator windings. It is called EA, or sometimes we represent with EF, or sometimes we represent with EB. And coming to the rotor circuit, so here we have the DC supply, which we normally represent with VF, and this is the RF, means this is the field winding resistance of the rotor circuit, and this is the inductance of the field winding of the rotor circuit, and this current is called the rotor current or rotor field current, represented by IF. Remember here, for field winding we have the polarity because we give the DC supply, whereas for stator we give the AC supply, we don't find here any fixed polarity here. Suppose we draw the vector diagram for a salient pole, so we have to take what is called the quadrature reactance and the direct axis reactance and also the respective currents. And if you draw the vector diagram for the equivalent circuit on per phase basis, we get like this. So applied voltage is V5, and when we add the XQ, that is the quadrature axis reactance voltage drop, we get like this. Then when we add the direct axis reactance voltage drop, then we get ID XD like this. Then we add the voltage drop across the armature resistance, that is stator resistance, that is IA RA, which will be in phase with the IA, that is like this. So we get like this. So remember here, this is drawn with respect to using this, that is IA is nothing but the vector sum of IQ and ID. ID is nothing but direct axis current and IQ is the quadrature axis current. And the angle between the applied voltage per phase and the induced EMF in the stator is delta, and the angle between the induced EMF and the armature current we call that as phi. Suppose we take the cylindrical rotor. In that case, the vector diagram will be like this. So this is the induced EMF and this is the armature current. That is, armature current is lagging the induced EMF by an angle called phi. And when we add the armature resistance drop, that is IA RA, that should be in phase with the IA, so we draw like this. And then we know what is voltage drop across this, that is IA into XS. So that is perpendicular to the IA, so we draw like this. And the resultant of this IA RA and IA XS is nothing but the applied voltage VT or V phi, like this. The angle between the VT and the EF or the induced EMF EA is nothing but delta, whereas the angle between the terminal, the applied volt, the induced EMF in the stator and the supply current, that is IA, is called phi. So we have seen what is the construction of the synchronous motor, what are the different types of rotors that we use, what is the supply that we give to the stator, and we have seen what is the type of supply that we give to the rotor, and what is the inertia of the rotor, what is the effect of the inertia, and how to start the synchronous motor. And we have seen what is the equivalent circuit of the stator and what is the equivalent circuit of the rotor, and we have seen how to draw the vector diagram for the equivalent circuit of the synchronous motor when the rotor is salient pole, when the rotor is cylindrical type. And we have seen the stator produces a constant rotating magnetic field whose speed is 120 F by P,